Apologies for the lack of videos recently, but I've been a bit tied up with work. So I've just put together this compilation of clearances, and hopefully I'll be back with another tutorial soon. So we've potted 2 yellows off the break there, but the balls haven't spread too nicely, and we've got a lot of the balls all down at this one end of the table. And actually the yellows are not great because we've got these 2 tied up behind that red to the corner. So the reds look like the better option, even though we've potted the yellows first. So we'll take this red to the middle, and we need to then sort out this group of reds in the middle here that are all sort of blocking each other. So the easiest way to do this is to play the plant. So we're playing the one near the black spot onto the other one to the corner, and that will then open up so that we can pot all 3 of those balls left in the middle. So we're just lining up the angles, it's just slightly off straight, so we're just working out where we need to contact the second ball and potting it to the corner. Now this ball down at the bottom, we really need to play, we're in the right position to play this now, because we need to make sure that we don't get stuck behind those 2 yellows. So even though we've got slightly awkward cueing, we can take this now. We're going to need to raise the cue a little bit and dig down into the ball, screw them back a bit to make sure we don't get stuck behind them, and that's got that ball out of the way nicely. Now it's just a case of clearing the middle ball here so that we can get the other 2 to the corner. So we're just gently rolling this into the middle, just naturally rolling up nicely to be back on this one, back down to the corner. Now this one here we can just screw back a little bit and leave ourselves in between these 2 balls, and gives us an option on which one to take. Probably the top one first. So we just screw back a bit, and that's left us a really nice angle that we can play this up to the corner and then come back down into this sort of position, giving us a nice angle on the last red. A little bit closer to the cushion than we'd like, but we haven't got to do too much with the cue ball. The natural angle is going to take us over to that side of the table, onto the black to the middle. So just concentrate on the pot, naturally rolling over, and then a fairly simple black to the middle pocket. So we're breaking from the middle of the table this time, trying to get a slightly better spread of the balls. And we've got a yellow and a red off the break. So looking at both sets, both not bad. The yellow have got those 2 that are sort of touching each other there. The reds are pretty nice, they're all nicely spread. One a little bit close to the side pocket there, so I think the reds are probably the better option, as there's not an easy first yellow. So just roll this red nice and gentle to the centre pocket and up, and not played the best first shot there because I've underplayed that. In the previous game I think I'd rattled a couple to the middle there and just didn't put enough into that to roll forward enough, and now I'm not left with a great shot. Now this is a prime situation where you're kicking yourself because you've played a terrible positional shot, but don't let it get to you too much. Take your time and think about what's available. There's nothing obvious, there's nothing easy, but this red to the corner does go if we can just swerve slightly. It's not a massive masse shot or anything. I'm just hitting down slightly onto the ball just to swerve around, and then we're back nicely into position. So take your time in those situations where something doesn't quite go to plan, and try and get yourself back into the game as quickly as possible. Don't beat yourself up too much. Now we're back into position. This one that's over to the side is a little bit close. I'm going to play this one and try and flick off that ball to the middle. And that's just brought that ball into play as well nicely, so we're not left with that tight cut to the corner. Now, fairly simple, we can roll this in, go into the cushion, and then we've got the 2 back across to the opposite middle. Again, we're just going to roll through a few inches, just checking the angles, want to be straight as we can. And again, just roll through on this one, and nice and easy on the black. So after that initial shot, the following shots are quite simple once we got back into position. Just take your time on the black, make sure you're chalked up. Cueing's a little bit awkward because of that yellow there, so we're cueing further back from the white as normal, so just taking your time and rolling it into the corner. So back breaking from the side here, which gives you that sort of high probability of making that second yellow to the middle pocket. And we've made that yellow to the pocket and split the balls a lot nicer than we did before. So they're nicely spread here. The reds have got two that are sort of halfway along the rails, which not particularly easy, not favourite shots of mine. Not an easy opener on the red either, so we're going to take the yellows. So we've got a nice easy opener to the middle here. I'm just going to try and screw back between the red and yellow for the top yellow to the top corner. And just nicked the first ball there and not gone through that gap. So that's changed what I'm having to do here. So now I'm having to pot this one to the middle instead. Then thinking about getting high enough to pot the yellow to the middle and then down for the other balls. And I've flicked off it there but not travelled far enough again. So slowly running further and further out of position. Now I've got to put this to the middle, but I can't get down there easily. I'm hampered with my cueing by the wall and the space I've got here. So all I'm doing here is making sure of the pot. Accepting that I'm not going to have great position, but just making sure I pot the ball and staying at the table. And I'm going to do the same here. I've got these two, I'm going to have to hit these almost simultaneously to pot this bottom yellow to the bottom corner, and I'm focusing purely on the pot. I can't do too much with the white from this sort of distance. I'll travel back round to sort of similar position I am now, make sure of the pot, and again I'm on another long shot right up against the rail, but I'm just making sure that I'm potting the ball. I'm trying to get into a reasonable position that allows me to pot the ball, but not trying to do anything fancy that's going to make me miss the pot. From this sort of distance, if I try and do anything too much with side, I'm more than likely to miss the pot. So I'm focusing on the pot, coming around the angles and back to give myself a shot. Now at least this time I've landed a bit deeper into the table so I can actually get my hand on the table so I can do something with the white here. So now I'm cutting the ball, the yellow, to the bottom right corner, but at least I can get some screw back onto the white to bring it across into the side cushion and then the bottom cushion and then the right cushion, which will leave me on the black to the middle. And we've got back into position to leave ourselves a nice pot on the black. So that clearance was all about focusing on the pot and accepting that the position wasn't going to be great, but making sure we potted those balls. So this one is not a great example of a clearance, but it just shows you what you can do with a bit of improvisation. So we're breaking from the side of the table again, and make the yellow to the middle and the red to the top right, which are the two most common balls you'll make from that break. Both balls are spread fairly nicely. There's not really an opener on the yellows, there's nothing easy there, so it's probably going to have to be the reds with this one to the centre pocket. Now a position from that, I'm not quite straight enough to run through, so I think I'm going to have to play this and try and get the cue ball to travel into those two yellows, just knocking one of them out the way to leave us a shot on the red to the top left, which we've done nicely there. And then that then allows us to get onto that ball along the top rail, which is the only really sort of tricky ball on here. So we can just drop this in, end up nice and high on that so that we can play across to get back down for the balls down this end of the table. So we play this with top spin into the right hand cushion and across. We've ended up a little bit straight on this, hoping for a little bit more of an angle, but so now we're going to try and play this with top spin and come into the side cushion and try and just dislodge this ball down the bottom a little bit. And we've not quite got it there, and now we haven't got a shot. So this is an example where I'd probably normally play a safety, because there's nothing easy here, but we're going for a clearance, so why not go for a double? So let's have a look for the top of the table, and we've made it. Now it's a bit of a fluke, but we were going for clearances here, and you can probably see from the smirk on my face off camera here that I knew it was a bit lucky. So I haven't got a shot here, so let's go for a treble on this one and see what happens here. And we've made that as well. again, very lucky, and you can see I'm laughing to my son out the side of shot here, who's laughing at my luck there. Now we've got ourselves a shot on the black, but that would be boring to finish by putting that straight to the middle, so let's go for a double on this just to finish in style. And we've made that as well. If you want to see more practice routines and pool tutorials, then please remember to subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the equipment I use in this video, then there are links in the description below.